Hello everyone, this is actually a follow-on from the last one, which I sort of went into Egypt a little bit, but I'm going to do a whole video on Egypt and my past lives in Egypt. Here again, I'm just giving you some photos of actually the how they look as priestesses of the temple of Hathor, and I'm showing you some of the pictures I found. Thanks. Into it. I'll just explain to you that this was a past life shown to me during meditation. So I was born in around 1720 BC. I was a favoured one, a priestess of the temple, one of Hathor's maidens, which you've seen pictures in the last frame that you have seen. I was always dressed in magnificent clothes. I had a huge turquoise necklace and inlaid with gold around my neck. This was not mine, but part of the temple's. It was important that we dressed the part. I was well protected from the world as it was then. I got the feeling that there were many leaders or people that could order everyone around, causing the death of many people who were a fraction of the culture or not obeying orders. There was some confusion as we were ordered to follow, and there was lots of conflicting orders. Astrologers were especially important in those days. They were told of the future, and people lived by this. They predicted death, and there were many who died on the day because it had been predicted, and they believed it to be so, and they just fell dead with no cause of death. We still have much of the astrology that is known to be really true these days. In fact, you'll see lots of astrologers out there as well on YouTube. The temples were cool inside as the blazing sun beat down outside the walls. I hardly ever adventured outside the walls, but I do remember that I rode up the river with a royal procession in search of crocodiles. It was a hunt in which one of the inspired young warriors was out to prove himself. He connected to Hathor by relation he was. I was disgusted by the way in which they hunted these creatures. I know that these crocodiles ate many people as they were washing their clothes by the river. It was quite common to have children go missing as well. This did not happen in the temple compound, as the royal children were not allowed to venture out without guards and their group of people. I was part of this royal household and was cared for very well. Speech was very guarded in these days, and you could be killed if you gossiped about anyone in the royal household. I suppose that is true today too. Beds were made of straw and covered with silk coverings. They had made beautiful silk cloths of all shades. This was used from the tints of the plants extracts and from certain earth colours. This was boiled and left to dry. Beetroot was used as a dye a lot. The royal households always had competition about who was better and who could do a better job than the other. There were many poisons around at this time as well. It was not uncommon to find the viziers close to the pharaoh being killed by poison, only to have his brother-in-law take his place. Yeah, that happens. Family did not mean much. It was being higher and favoured in the pharaoh's eyes. That was your meal ticket, as people were starving out there, extremely poor. If you were one in your family selected to be part of the army, it was a great honour. And if you worked in the stone mines, you at least could feed your family. The taxes were ridiculous. The pharaoh's advisor were devious and would have their own cut of the taxes. However, if they were caught, it meant death. Only the members of the royal household or the royal birth were spared death. Death was not seen as important as it is now. It was a transition to the higher planes. That is why human life did not mean much. There was much more concern with the life hereafter than with life now. It was out of balance. Life was cheap, if you like. In many cases, the poor had no direction and welcomed death. It was considered an honour to die with the Pharaoh when he died, and all the souls would ascend with him and look after him in the next life. This I know is wrong, but we have learned since then. The pharaohs were schooled in religious and other knowledge, and the rest of society was not told of these things. The people of the religious order also had this knowledge, and it was for this reason that they were not allowed to mix with ordinary people, for the fear of the knowledge getting out. It was a way of making people work and not caring if they died in the process. I did see something magnificent in my time there. There were secret visitors who came from the desert in their shiny craft, as I've mentioned before. The pharaoh and religious people were not allowed to integrate, and only the pharaoh was allowed to talk. So I did say that in my last video. When the pharaoh died, this special amulet that was given to them by these alien beings was put in the pharaoh's casket with him. I'm not sure what it was for or meant, and who the pharaoh was. After these people came, or these aliens, other species, I did notice, however, that there was a large structure being built with seemingly less effort on the part of people. Heavy stones lifted in the air without apparent means of support. There was much energy as that whirled around, and it was being placed high in the air to form the structure. It caused small dust storms sometimes, and that was part of the information that was gathered from the extraterrestrials. Of course, the people cheered and revered the pharaoh even more for this. There were lots of secrets in those days, and people just accepted them and dared not ask, as it would mean death. It was a way of keeping people in their place, and especially if you had lots of children. They would lean very heavy on you and sometimes cause things that were not right, but you had to do those things for them. Also, death was a way of getting rid of them. The knowledge that was hidden from the general population was a way of keeping people in control. I had a feeling it was a way of helping keep people to give them knowledge, but greed and power were number one with the pharaoh. Besides, anyone could have been killed for this. The pharaoh at the time, he was like my god, if you like, as it was how it was in those days. It seems strange that we have never got it right through the ages with what we were supposed to do and how the civilizations are supposed to live. The answers have always been there, and it is through the manifestations that we have the perfect plan for peace and harmony, but we cannot make this plan work completely. I want to share with another past life with you in Egypt with Rameses II, and as I was called Isnofret, one of the favourite queens of Rameses II. I was favoured, of course. I was a queen of love and held the energies just as I did in Atlantis, and I do remember in that time that I remembered Atlantis. My first remembrance was in the throne room. Rameses and I were holding court, and it was an exceptionally large room. There were many people that were attending the pharaoh and his queen. I felt very regal and powerful, not in the sense of abusive power, but the power you feel when you are loved and respected. The pharaoh was giving punishment for someone who had stolen grain, and the visor next to the pharaoh said 100 lashes, and I whispered to Rameses that was too harsh, and he said 50 lashes. I was known for my fairness and honesty and my compassion for all people. They loved and respected both of us, and it was known in the land of our strong love for one another. The next time I remember we were in the bedroom and he was stroking my cheek saying, I love you, and me saying, I love you too, and respect you, and I respect you. The total love and respect were equal with us. It was true love. I kissed his hand and felt the love and warmth from him. The next time I remember in this life is Isnofret when I was dying. I'd been poisoned and was lying in the bedroom. The visors and other people were there. Queen Nefertiti was there, one of the wives of Rameses. She was behind the poisoning because she was jealous of our love. Rameses was holding my hand and looking into my eyes, and I sat in the bed and I told them that although they had shortened my life on this plane of existence, I would still be beside Rameses. I would make sure that he had an exceptionally long reign, that they were not going to stop me. Even though I had been poisoned and would die, in death I would help. I would make sure that the power was not taken away from him and that I would still guide him with my compassion for the people, that they could not win through power and greed because I would protect him from this. I told them that my spirit would always protect Rameses as the love would be strong as ever between us. The love does not die but lives on after death. The other queen, Nefertiti, was jealous of the love that Rameses and I shared, and it was known throughout the land, and she wanted to have the right to be with him and to be with him alone. She was in the history books after Isnofret died. Another vision that I had was this vision of Cleopatra as she was sailing down the Nile in a barge. I appeared to see through her eyes, then felt who she was. She was wearing a gold-winged headdress, black hair with white pleated dress with gold. Cleopatra's vision was to unite Egypt at all costs, to keep her energy, to keep the positive energy vibration, to exude beauty and grace, and to teach by example of beauty from within so people should see the inner beauty, to shine in the dross of uncertainty, to uphold the throne of love and power through spirituality, to facilitate between great men and bring love between them, to show them the error of their ego, to meld their power, and to unite and give joy again, the joy in their hearts regardless of their station in life. These men were troubled by power of the physical power, knowing that the power of love and mind far outweighed the power of the physical, for many a strong man had been brought to their knees by the power of the words uttered in joy and love, when faced with love and joy of themselves and told to them by the priestesses in the form of beauty, love, trust, and wisdom. He cannot deny himself the part of himself that is good, loving, and kind. In the love that he finds happiness in himself and others, for the power of the physical fades and passes with time, but the power of the mind and the heart lives on throughout time and space. Beyond the physical body it has no time, no name or place, for it is the ether, the energy of always and everything. It lingers in the mountains, in the streams, and in the fields, in the hearts of men. These are the thoughts of Cleopatra as she realized the burden of her life, and also the greatness of her task and the betterment of the nation of the world to make it a better place for all her people, and they loved her for it. She felt the power of all that she could be, but she drew on that power to help her, and it was all she needed to be, and say her piece and encourage the great leaders, these men, to see the emptiness of their lower selves and what they had become. She saw that what men could become in the future, and was sad. She had visions and she saw her part of the plan and knew that she had made a difference. I just want to talk to you about Nostradamus on pyramids. He wishes to speak about the advancement of this planet. The Earth is moving into the time of change, and it is the pyramid and its placements around the world that will bring about gentle transition because of its energies that are sending signals out into the universe. The beings out there pour their energies into these beacons, and they in turn send out signals of where the alignment is out. This is constantly being monitored, for the energies on Earth are so erratic. The Earth is groaning under the weight of toxic wastes that has burdened her. There is a constant adjustment for the energies that come from beyond the universe to help Earth and her remaining in balance for this transition. The more people are becoming into their spiritual awareness, the more the balance is affected in a positive way. The energies therefore help balance planet Earth so that other energies from the universe do not have to work so hard. It is their love for the planet that keeps them doing so, for it to up to us being part of the planet that the responsibility lies. But the universal beings are patiently waiting and helping us, for with Earth making the gentle transition will help all beings from the galaxy to ascend to their higher purpose, for we are part of the whole on a much larger scale. The pyramid holds and transmutes many energies. It comes from a point and it follows the line of each point until it is enclosed. Then the energy is filled in that area. From then it is whatever the pyramid is programmed with, the work begins, and the energy is transmuted and around that pyramid. It has a circle of energy inside pyramid and outside the pyramid. Both energies work in different directions to bring about the change. Then the transmutation takes place. The energy between time and with two circles of energy working in different direction. It is like a void. It is in this time and space that you place the unwanted energy, and then it is lifted and made invalid. If one wants to use the pyramids for healing, then one must put the intention in and around the pyramid and reinstate that message before working with the pyramid each time. It is also stated when the energies flow and again after the transition has taken place, so in effect it is stated 3 times. The pyramid has been used from different energy, and that is why clarification is required. It allows those out in space to notice the beacon and its intention, so they designate and work with it. You are then directly working with the energies and the beings from all around the galaxy. It is important that you state that you want the beings from the highest possible good from the source of God for healing, learning, etc. For many are using other energies for other results. However, he was talking about in 1700, and now we know that the energies have shifted. But this really makes me look at it and say that as I was talking about the beings, extraterrestrials and the collective I was talking about, was saying that they are protecting Earth. So the pyramids are very, very important as they are connected to everything, to the galaxies, and that's one of the reasons or one of the ways they monitor us. I hope this has been a good explanation for this. Thank you for listening. Hello everyone, I'd just like to introduce myself. I've been doing this work. I'm a psychic medium, been doing this work for approximately 45 years. I have my own client base and I do readings from home and email readings and energy readings if you want to go to my website. I'd like to explain I work with two guides, although there's 5 of them, but at the moment there's White Cloud on the left and D'Artagnan on the right. And down below you will see that I promote the universal laws and I talk about them as well. That's in one of my videos.